Can you play fast? No? Today I'm going to show you how you can play fast. Here we go. Hey Guitar Champion, what's going on? I'm Justin Hornbach back from my practice cave and welcome to today's video. As you might remember, in my last video I talked about the way how we practice is more important of what we are practicing, but still that there are certain licks and certain concepts that are designed to solve certain problems. And I've now decided to make a little bit video series about these kind of licks, these kind of concepts and the method on how we should practice them. I will try to do this every week for the next 4 or 5 weeks, and I'm going to show you here in this video now what the best way is to work on your speed, in my opinion and in my experience. Of course, this can differ from certain other experience, but we can learn by melting all these experience together. So if you have also a really cool way, a really cool method that you would love to add to these kind of methods, then write it down in the comments. I would love to hear your opinion and your experience as well. So again, as I've mentioned, and we always have to keep this in our mind, in my opinion, it is not so important what you are practicing, it is important how you are practicing certain things. But still there are licks that are a little bit better for our topic today, building up tempo, than maybe other licks, which are a little bit more complex or a little bit more for precision or hand synchronization. And today I want to show you one lick here on this YouTube video. If you want to have 4 more patterns, sequence and licks that are, in my opinion, really good to build up speed, then check out my Patreon. There's a free, again I said, a free video that everybody can watch. You don't have to be a Patreon follower. But if you are a fan of monthly challenges, interesting solos, more analysis, more bonus content, a podcast and whatnot, then check out my Patreon as well. With only $5, you are in the circle of the cool kids. Yeah. And of course, if you want to really boost your shredding and your playing to the next level, then check out, of course, the ZEN of Speed Picking, my speed picking masterclass with the answers for problems like hand synchronization, building up speed, interesting licks, how to write speed picking licks in your solos, and more, demonstrated through more than 50 licks, 10 etudes, more than 5 workouts for everybody who don't have much time on their hand to practice, and a full practice plan and practice strategy. So I would say let's start with the lick. The tabs for this lick you will find as well on the free Patreon video. So check out the link in the description box for that as well. So the pattern is actually a quite familiar and a quite famous one, and it goes like this. Here I'm now in the key of C minor because I have created a whole monster speed picking lick with all the 5 patterns and sequences that I love to work on when it comes to speed. And I did this in C minor because, hey, sometimes it is interesting to change the key a little bit. So now the pattern, when we see this in 3-note per strings, starts with the 3rd note of that string, then going to the 1st note, then going to the 2nd note, and then having a descending movement where you're going from 3 to 2 to 1. So with 1, 2, and 3, I don't mean fingering, or I don't mean in the intervals, I just mean the 1st note of that string, the 2nd note of the string, and the 3rd note of the string. It can change depending on which string you are, where you are in the key and whatnot. So, but this is the cool thing about sequencing. It's easy to adapt, to adjust and to transfer them to different keys, to different strings and whatnot. Alright, and this pattern is a really good one for our left hand speed because we have to face the 3 most important movements in our left hand. We have an ascending movement, we have a descending movement, and we have a skipped movement where we are skipping a finger instead of playing it in a row. And the cool thing about the right hand is that we have an even number of notes per string, so we don't have to trouble with two-way pick slanting or different pick slants or whatnot, or kind of complex lines and licks. We can focus on the speed movement, the speed motion in general. The pick slant that we need for this case is downward pick slanting, but we don't have to change it. We can stay with downward pick slanting. Before we start going into the right methods on how we should practice this lick up to tempo, I want to demonstrate what you can do with this lick. Because you can play this lick, for example, horizontally in one scale. maybe not so sloppy like I did, but this is really good for the right hand. For the left hand, it can be quite difficult because of the position changes and position shifts. Position shifts is always something that, I don't know, costs time for our left hand because we need several time to go from one position to the next position. So the micro timing is suffering a little bit underneath that, but still doable. I mean, take a look at Ingvi. He's the master of playing these kind of licks horizontally. And of course you can play these kind of licks vertically as well. Alright, but now how to practice those licks? Well, I still can highly recommend to check out this video here where I talk about my practice routine. But the most important thing when it comes to speed, in my opinion, is to play something in speed. A lot of people, they panic about developing bad habits, but the good thing is the more we know about our body, the more awareness we can get about our playing, the easier it is to get out of bad habits. I'm working on my bad habits every day, and I see every day solutions and changes in those bad habits and transforming those bad habits into good habits. It is possible, and the more often you're doing it, the easier it becomes. We can only develop speed when we accept speed in our practice routine as well. Why? Because our body, our brain, our fingers, all of this, they have to learn how it feels to play something fast. When we always start slow and go slow, slow, fast, a little bit more fast, a little bit more faster, we quickly reach a barrier that is only happening in our mind because we always have that big goal, that huge tempo in front of us, and we think like, we will never reach it, and it's too fast, it's too complicated, or I'm starting to get sloppy and whatnot. It is important to work on your precision and to work on your sloppiness, but we also need a place in our practice routine for playing something just fast. Like for example with the following clip from yesterday's practice session where I just said, fuck it, I tried to play this lick on 170 BPM, which are 17 notes per second. And it's definitely not perfect by any means. I mean, in the end I choked some notes and the micro timing is not spot on, but hey, at least I know and I got that feeling and that awareness of, okay, this is the potential. This is where I want to go. This is the feeling that I need to know when I want to move my fingers that fast. Troy Grady once explained that our brain works differently when we are playing something fast, that there's this chunking method. That really interesting topic that I highly recommend to check out to learn from him. And I included this in my practice routine as well. And there are often two methods that a lot of people are doing. One of them is the burst method, that you take a certain tempo, that you play a lick, and then after 2 or 4 times you play that lick double as fast. And this is totally fine to build up a basic endurance in your playing and to get the first feeling of start playing something fast. But the problem is it won't work anymore for longer licks. So what I like to share with you guys is also a second method that you can try out. And in this method, we playing everything fast, but here instead of dividing the tempo in different sections like 100 BPM, 110 BPM, 120 BPM, we are dividing the length of the lick in different sections, but we're keeping the tempo. I start playing, for example, on the fastest tempo where I can play it. This is also, side note, really important. Find out the tempo where this lick starts to fail, where this lick really don't work anymore. Not the tempo where you start to feel a bit uncomfortable or certain things are happening. No, you have to find the tempo where you realize, okay, now here, this is my limit, and then work together with that tempo and then underneath it together with the tempo. For example, in my case, it's around 160 and 170 ppm. So let me turn on a metronome to demonstrate to you how I would work on my speed. So I would start, for example, with this lick first up to the point where I have to change the strings, which are the first 30 notes. So let me try out this up to tempo. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ah! So you see I start to miss certain notes on the first section, so I have to make the length of that lick a little bit smaller. So now let's start, for example, with the first 6 notes only. Hey, Ingvi's checking if I'm playing everything correctly. Alright, now let me try to add the next 6 notes again. Now, the important thing here is to understand that, for example, with this method, you are focusing on little movements, little details that when you're trying to play the whole lick, maybe is some sort of tripwire for you to fall over and to start playing this lick not clean anymore, not precise anymore. And here we can focus on especially or exactly this kind of movement, this kind of fingering, these kind of notes, these kind of tripwires. I don't do this every day. This is also really important. As I always say, my philosophy is not only to have diversity in my life, but also to have diversity in my practice routine. So I try to practice every lick every day differently. Again, what I'm practicing stays the same, but how I'm practicing is different. Again, check out this video here to find out more about my practice routine. But this is the most important part when it comes to speed. Alright, so much for this little video about my experience, the best way to work and to improve on your speed. Huh, little Ingvi? How did you develop your speed, Mr. Blitzkrieg Neoclassical Master? Huh? Can you tell me your secret? Ah, it's subscribing to Justin Hornbach and checking out more of his videos. I hope you liked this little video. I hope I'm going to see my next video. Cheers and power your progress. Bye.